MTSU head coach Mike Bobo joins us. He is in Fort Collins right now, joining us over the phone. Hi, Mike. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Doing just fine.
It's great for me to talk to you. This is Woody, because I grew up in the South, and it's good to talk to someone who doesn't have an accent.
Yeah, no accent at all.
And my first question to you, I'm an old Tennessee boy, and I know you had problems beating Tennessee when you were the Georgia quarterback. I hate to bring
That's
that
because
up.
of a guy named Peyton Manning. But
Yeah, had nothing to do
Oh,
with
excuses.
me. But, Coach, here's the first thing you and I got to do during the offseason. I know you think it's recruiting, but you and I need to go plant some hedges up at the stadium here.
Between the Hedges was a special place for me at my time in Georgia. And then when you say that, everybody knows what you're talking about. You say Between the Hedges, playing in Sanford Stadium. It was a beautiful place. But yesterday was the first time actually I've been here, for about a week. And I'm like, I got to get out of this office. So we drove to the stadium and went up and looked at it from up on top of the reservoir. And it's just a beautiful place here in Fort Collins. The sun's finally come out the last 2 days, and I got a couple coaches in today, and they're like, man, this looks like a daggum commercial we're standing in right now. They just can't believe how beautiful it is out here.
There's so much talk about the new stadium that the president is pushing for, but I think people tend to forget, even though it's a drive out there, that is a beautiful site for a stadium. You've got Horsetooth Dam back there. You've got the mountains in the background. It's actually a very beautiful stadium, even though it's now been there 30 years or so, but it's a beautiful complex out there, a lot of parking. So I just wonder, it reminds me of Ray Mears, who was a basketball coach at Tennessee, once said, we have the ugliest color in the world, orange, but you take it and turn it into a positive. How are you going to take that stadium and what you're doing up there and turn it into a positive?
Well, I think the first thing you got to do is just show everybody how committed you are to being here. And, that starts one relationship at a time with every person you come in contact with here in the Fort Collins and the Colorado State community. Everybody's obviously excited about the new stadium coming on campus, and we got to build to that, because I do think the old campus stadium is going to build excitement with the students, being able to come to games. And it's just, you got to take every positive that's here, because there's a ton of them, and you got to accentuate the positives one day at a time, and sell people, because that's one of the reasons why I'm here at Colorado State. The people that are involved in this university and behind athletics, and the people behind this university, and that's why I'm sitting here today, because of the people. And we're gonna be all about people and family, and get guys here that want to be at Colorado State and want to play Colorado State football. If we get the right kind of guys here and want to do that, we'll have success.
Mike, it's a bit of a risky move for you. You grew up, well, first you were born in Augusta, Georgia. You grew up there. You played ball there. You went to college there. You have been coaching there since 2001, and you even had a stint before that at Georgia. And all of a sudden you pick up, you leave the Deep South, you leave your home, you leave the place you know best. I'm certain you leave a lot of family and friends, and you come to the Rocky Mountain region. How tough was it for you to make this decision to leave home?
Well, I've never been one to look at a lot of jobs, or a guy that's hunting a job every year. I've always felt that if you want a new job, you apply enthusiasm to the one that you have. And that's really what I've been dedicated my whole life to in coaching, is the job that I have, and making sure my guys in my area of responsibility was ready to play on Saturday, or ready to go to class every day, do the daily things they needed to be successful. And about 3 or 4 years ago, just me and my wife sitting down, I said, I need to start getting ready. If it's something I want to do, is be a head coach. And just sat around waiting for the right opportunity. And then when Colorado State came open, I knew the success that Coach Mack had when he came out here, following him, because he was at Alabama for those 3 to 4 years, and saw what he had done here. I thought you had a chance to win here and win on a consistent basis in this conference and compete for conference championships. So I told my agent, I was interested in this job. And then the more I started to meet the people that are involved in the process and meet the people involved in the university, I knew it was the right fit. Not once did I ever have second thoughts that maybe I shouldn't do this. It felt right the whole time. Fort Collins is a college town, very similar to Athens. Everything kind of evolves around the college and the community, and I see it as a great place to raise my family. And home is where you make it. It's like I told my kids, we're gonna love each other no matter where we are. And they're excited. We're excited. Everybody's excited about being here and starting the next chapter of our lives.
Mike, you are obviously familiar with the Southeastern Conference. My question from the very beginning, and it's somewhat of a difficult one. Colorado State has generally, over the years, and done a good job with them, taken the second tier of high school players from Colorado. A lot of Colorado great high school players escape to other states, and they don't go to Colorado or they don't go to Colorado State. And then the recruiting ground has been California and Texas and occasionally Louisiana. But not being familiar with this part of the country, you said you're going to be a salesman each and every day. But what is going to be your strength in order to entice kids from the West, and especially from this state, to stay in Colorado, and from California to come to Colorado? How are you going to do that when you haven't been real familiar with these parts of the country?
Well, yeah, there's no question. But, football player's a football player, and I think it's all about identifying that guy. We're never probably going to win signing day right now at Colorado State. It's going to be identifying those guys, and I do believe, having been in a place like Georgia and familiar how the big-time schools are doing it, they're offering so much earlier nowadays. And a lot of guys that develop between their junior and senior years are being missed by the big-time programs, the Power 5 schools. And there's a lot of guys out there that happened to us the last few years at Georgia that you can't take because you're full, because you've got so many commits early, and there's these guys sitting out there that are can be developed into top-notch players because they have the frame. They've got the 6'4" frame. They're only about 200, and they came on late they grew 2 inches between their junior and senior year. It's going to be guys like that we got to do a good job of finding. Like the receiver that plays on our team right now, Rashard Higgins. He's a basketball player, late bloomer in high school, and they went and found that guy. So we got to do a good job of that. And then you got to sell what we do, what we're going to do offensively and defensively, and you got to build it one relationship at a time. You got to go in that living room and you got to, sell yourself and sell your program. And I'm not at all worried about that. I've gone all over the country and recruited guys, and it's about relationships and people seeing that what you're about and not being fake. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell myself and sell this program, and feel very confident that we'll be able to get quality players here at Colorado State.
Hey, Mike, did you watch yesterday's games? What did you think? Do you like the current setup? Your general thoughts about what you saw in the semifinals yesterday?
Yeah, I like it. It added some excitement to yesterday's football games. I missed a little bit of the Oregon Florida State game.
So did Florida State.
Yeah, it just looked like they turned it over a bunch there, like back to back. Every time I looked up, they were turning the ball over. But both teams are very talented, and I kept thinking Jim Winston was going to pull something out of a hat like he'd done all year, and they just couldn't overcome the turnovers. And Oregon's so strong. That's just a great team. And then that last game was just outstanding football game between both teams, and then playing real hard. And Ohio State just made more plays. That play that guy made on that onside kick, which was unreal onside kick, to go up and get that ball, that was an unreal play Spencer made on that. But just two teams there at the end, the last game, just playing extremely hard, and it's good to see.
What's happened? Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say what's happened to your SEC? 2 victories, 5 losses. The top teams are the ones that are falling.
The conference came apart since you left, Mike.
The SEC East, I think we're 2-0. Georgia and Missouri won, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And Tennessee's going to win tonight against Iowa. So, hey, the East is holding up. It's
That's
in.
Right.
So you like the concept of the new championship format as opposed to the BCS kind of picking and choosing?
Woody, I do. It's a lot of excitement, and we're obviously talking about college football year round. Not to say that in a few years we're going to say, hey, we need to go to 8 teams, or at the end of the day, it's a playoff every week in college football, and you're trying to get to one of those 4 spots, and it's exciting. I think college football is the best thing going out there today, just because of the excitement it brings week in and week out throughout the season.
You brought up something interesting. I had posed this to Les earlier, and he came around to agreeing with me that I want to see it go into 8, because you'd take the 5 power conferences, you'd have 3 at large, and teams like Colorado State would be right there. Boise State would have been right there this year, going down and winning the Fiesta Bowl
Marshall,
again.
possibly.
So
yeah.
wouldn't you like, based on what you're saying, I don't know whether you were indicating that you wanted to see it to go to 8 teams, but to me, that's the proper way to go, to give everybody a legitimate chance.
There's no question. I think the more teams that got a chance to get in and compete for a national championship, the better. At the same time, you don't want to water it down. But there's so many good teams that play good football nowadays. It's not one elite team. I think that's obvious when you watch these bowl games and see the good quality football teams, quality football players everywhere. High school football has gotten so much better all the way across the country. And then that's going to make these teams in these regions so much better when they go off to school. So, football just keeps getting better and better, and the quality of teams, there's so many quality teams now. I think you need to give more teams the opportunity to win a championship.
Well, Mike, we really appreciate your time today, and hopefully when you make a visit down to Denver here, you can stop by the studio, and we'll sit you in one of these beautiful leather comfortable chairs from Wow Furniture. All right.
All right, I'll hold y'all to it. I'll come sit in.
Yeah,
we'll get you some
bring
pizza
us a
too.
jersey and we'll put it on the wall. Yeah.
Okay,
Mike,
thanks.
Thanks. Congratulations on the job, and we'll talk to you soon.